It's a different character in the Japanese version compared to the English version. Like, what? You know, I feel like that character in the movie that's been lied to his whole life and just now is discovering the truth. Like, Sword Art Online director believes Japanese anime has the potential to replace Hollywood, but focusing too much on global appeal could lead to failure. Kadokawa CEO emphasizes Japan's first approach to stories. You can create unique works by not marketing with the mindset of, let's make a manga that will sell globally. Is it me, or is common sense finally becoming common again? First, we have Ano, the Evangelion director, sharing the same sentiment, saying the overseas audience must adapt to anime. And now Kadokawa and the SAO director are sharing similar opinions as well. I always say with these videos that I create that my goal isn't to change the mind of fake fans, tourists, or those who are ideologically captured thinking anime is problematic. I think they are a lost cause. But what I hope to achieve is that with these videos, they add up to something larger, making the voices louder of true fans to where it reaches these creators, whether it's veterans or new and upcoming creators, because for too long, the activist journalist class have had direct access to them and were able to drown out the voices of fans. But it seems that's all slowly changing, and thankfully so. And here's a quote from Ito himself, the SAO director. I get the impression it was actually when Aniplex acquired Crunchyroll in 2020 that Japanese anime started exploding in popularity across the globe, taking into consideration the WGA strike from a few years ago, which was so stupid, but that's a topic for another video, and the influence of COVID. It also seems like the influential power of Hollywood movies has been weakening, so I think Japanese anime have managed to become a good replacement for them. However, despite Japanese animated films being in a position to rise above the popularity of media giants like Hollywood, making anime with the global audience in mind could be a double-edged sword. There have actually been many cases where focusing too much on global appeal has led to failure.
Bingo! Yahtzee!
And this is something I state often in my live streams and videos, that the creators who will find themselves to be successful in the future are those who are paying attention to the current landscape of things. He sees that Hollywood is failing and that anime could completely replace it, but he understands why that is, and is careful not to gun-ho that now they can do anything without fear of failure, but the opposite of anything. I think Japanese people's idea of what could be well received worldwide is probably something people overseas don't enjoy. However, the emphasis on political correctness is strong in America, so they might think Japan is the only country that still produces works in which scantily clad girls battle, the kind of stuff that would be considered strange in North America. And when I read this comment, I immediately thought,
Yes! That's awesome!
someone gets it. Let me find out these creators are finally learning. For my regular viewers, you already know I label these people by different titles, and the politically correct types is one of them. The fun police, hall monitors, easily offended, sticks up their asses, I'm allergic to anime titties, or the feminine physique in general, and want to rid anime of it completely. I would say anime is the last place where beautiful women are portrayed in mass at all. And it's funny, over this last Christmas break, I visited some family and spent some time with my nephew, who's growing up in a time when anime is now the default standard of entertainment versus my childhood when it was niche. And I remember him saying, all anime women are beautiful. And I thought, yeah, the Japanese still appreciate feminine beauty and aren't scared to celebrate it. While over here, you have the activist-minded types who will accuse anyone who dares put a beautiful woman in anything of catering to the male gaze, as if that's a mortal sin not to be committed. But I'm glad Ito, the SAO director, called out political correctness and inferred that it's incompatible with anime. That the second anime embraces political correctness, it stops being anime and will be a clone of what caused Hollywood's current decline. But while you had those in the industry like the Naruto studio president and Vinland Saga editor blatantly calling out political correctness abroad, you have others who still haven't gotten the memo. As Ito has stated, anime is known for its beautiful female characters dressed scantily, contributing to something the medium is well known for. Quick, journalists, cover your ears.
But I won't say it for little baby ears over there.
Fan service. And in attempts to appeal to the global audience, non-fans, there are some studios studios who are censoring or changing character adaptations to water it down. As I'm making this video, the first episode of Tune In to the Midnight Heart just dropped, and fans of the manga are complaining not just about the animation, but that the character designs or outfits have been changed or censored, and they are upset, and rightfully so in my opinion. With them censoring out midriff in the anime adaptation compared to the manga, because God forbid we're censoring tummies now and because stomachs are just too much for the eyes to see, which they impressively outdone the booty short censorship dilemma for One Punch Man last season. Even giving some of the characters a breast reduction, at least from the first episode, it seems following what fans complained about in Bocchi the Rock adaptation as well, which had an activist feminist writer adapting that, so assume what you may. Seemingly this show so far scared to show damn near any skin, thighs and all, with many fans voicing their complaints. Why would I watch the anime adaptation for an inferior experience? Why the F bother adopting Tune Into the Midnight Heart just to censor it? This is really standard operating procedure now, huh? It's a bit sad. So now we're censoring everything? Guess kids are gonna get traumatized if they see tummies. Fucking retarded society. But while you have studios shooting themselves in the foot, you have others still embracing what fans want. Now, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I just made a video discussing how the classic pantsu shot needs to make a comeback, and my prayers have been answered with this anime just airing, loud and clear. You can't be in a rom-com with your childhood friends, having no concerns with being politically incorrect and offending the tourists filtering them out.
Hell yes.
Even an anime called Wash It All Away about a girl who runs a dry cleaner business in a small village is a baddie offering great fan service, not shying away from it. And just a quick side note, we used to embrace these things over here in the West. Y'all remember Batman Forever? Just a quick reference. But when you try to rid fan service or just attractively drawn female characters from anime, you get this type of non-fan stating, "So does anyone else find the Gachiaka the Volume 6 cover art really weird, or is it just me?" Which I'll say again, as an extension of my IOF video, some creators will just have to learn the hard way. Careful of the non-fan fans you look to attract, with this statement summing it up well. I swear TikTok anime fans are so performative they don't even love media they engage with.
Message!
And with all the corruption being uncovered with localization in the past week, it's just more evidence of why anime is incompatible with the global audience. It seems that localizers are adamant about diluting the Japanese cultural identity from Japanese media overall. There's certain terminology or familiarity that just comes naturally over a period of time whenever watching anime. Even if you don't know the terms, you're just familiar with the tropes, character archetypes, etc., like the comedic face fault.
落ちる滑るまた浪人ですってば皆さんも水の事故には気をつけましょうねどうしました皆さん全然綺麗にまとまってないんだけどキャッツアイめ年貢の納め時だはいラーメン20個お待ちだどう What should I do now?
Take this and join in. Hooray! Hooray! Ryoko! What's the matter?
まどかじゃよまあおばあちゃまと同じ名前
Which at first I didn't know the name of this trope as a kid, but it was something you would see very often and it always made me laugh. Or the pouting face when a character, especially a girl, gets jealous or mad. The intellectual or character of a few words fixing their glasses, which I don't know for some reason just always look cool. Even anime puke is comedy but culturally significant to anime. All of this makes the experience so much better and immersive, signaling to the viewer, you're watching anime. And that's why I get frustrated when people don't understand my stance on stop trying to westernize anime or Japanese media, period. Besides the Merry Christmas intentional mistranslation in Uma Musume again,
クリスマスパーティーへのご案内状
these localizers see Japanese media as being inherently offensive. It just came out that Nier Automata was completely changed by localizers for the English audience, and it's like playing two different games with 2B's character portrayal being completely different as well. Like in the English version, 2B is a bit more rude, strong, outgoing, cold, distant, while in the Japanese version, she's much more softer, feminine, warm, which isn't too surprising because a woman being feminine over here in the West is seen as a downgrade or a character flaw for a woman, like it's a malfunction or something a woman needs to mature out of. But the corruption is very revealing nonetheless, with this statement coming directly from the localizer. There's a lot of tropes, there's a lot of Japanese stereotypical characterizations that just don't work in the West or that don't even make any sense necessarily. Yeah, God forbid a woman be feminine, that doesn't make sense. You know, the stereotype of females acting scared and helpless, the kind of over-sexualized character, a lot of it is related to females, I guess, but you know, there's just a lot of Japanese stereotypes that don't really fit in English, and yeah, changing those or improving them are usually, I would agree, that's something that we tend to do, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's something you have to do, making characters, making the woman maybe a little stronger, independent, or less whiny. Really shows you the disdain for feminine women, yo. Dealing with sexism, homophobia, and gender stereotypes by cutting, altering, or strengthening the characters, the words, or the representations are quite normal for game localization between Japan and the United States. In an interview discussing other work, Gray informed me that gender issues in terms of how women are viewed, portrayed as ultimately being secondary to the man and the male hero, and where women will play along to their role. They won't be laughed at or made fun of. Everyone is on the same page here. In Japanese, these characters come across as endearing, whereas in the West, they come across as very sexist. This is why I hate when these people speak for the fans. And these are things that tend to universally get cut out when localizing from Japan to the United States, because certainly the writer's intention was not to offend anybody, and that would be offensive. And so the idea is that this isn't really what's important in this scene. I mean, if it is important, then it will be left in, but if it's not important, then let's just find another gag or joke or riff here. And this cutting happens fairly often.
You fucking people.
There's even a side quest, Lost Girl, where the machine in the Japanese version refers to 9S and 2B as Big Brother and Big Sister, but in the English version they're referred to as Mr. and 2B as Grumpy Lady. This displays a different relationship dynamic between these characters. One shows closeness and comfortability, while the other shows distance and annoyance. Many other instances where 9S and 2B have a more close relationship, where 2B is more engaging, compared to the English version where 2B ignores him and seems annoyed by him often. This is the problem I've always pointed out in localization with the intentional butchering of the media. The mistranslation can lead to change in framing of how a character is perceived. I would have loved to experience a soft-spoken, more feminine 2B. This makes me want to replay the game all over again in the Japanese version. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, I hate localizers.
You're the worst kind of scum on the face of the earth.
I hate how they convince Japanese creators that they speak for the Western fan, which if anything, the past 2 years have clearly shown that isn't the case at all. They just speak for fellow activists. So many instances where localizers have completely changed the framing of a story or the makeup of a character, their philosophy, etc. Even Mewtwo in the Pokemon movie, I've just learned this as well. It's a different character in the Japanese version compared to the English version. Like, what? Like, are you serious? I remember watching it as a kid. You know, I feel like that character in the movie that's been lied to his whole life and just now is discovering the truth. Like, who am I? Everything I've consumed is wrong and different from its original source, and it's all localizer's fault. Mewtwo is actually a kind of philosophical, deep character, with this dialogue summing it up well in the Japanese version. Who asked to be born? Who wished to be created? I resent everything that gave birth to me. So this is neither an attack nor a declaration of war. It's a counterattack against all of you who brought me into existence. That's a bar. You know how cool that shit sounds? And it just adds another layer of depth to his character. And the English version goes like this. I will sweep away from this earth anyone who dares to defy me. I warn you now, the world will soon become the kingdom of this Mewtwo. Note, in the North America version, the script was also completely rewritten, turning Mewtwo into an evil Pokemon plotting world domination with his supreme power. I mean, this just demonstrates how the Japanese writing and character depiction was far superior. I mean, it goes to show why this concept of anime or kid cartoons was mainly an American concept, because the Japanese dialogue is something I would expect to hear from an HBO show villain back in the day, top tier. While over here, localizers are translating itadakimasu as rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub.
What?
いただきます。
And I hate how all of this is leading me to believe, is anime just incompatible with the West, or maybe most viewers? And I mean that on a general level or mass appeal, because out of everyone in current day who says they like anime in the West, I truly believe maybe only 10% or 15% are actual fans and not just hopping on some trend or using it as brand appeal. Of course, you have fans who will love nothing more than to receive the actual authentic version of how the Japanese creator intended for the work to be received, but then you have these localizers who are ruled by their ego, thinking how can they be seen through someone else's work, and the quote-unquote fans who run defense for them. It's like they're obsessed and adamant with diluting Japanese culture from the medium, generalizing it, watering it down, removing the sauce to where it's tasteless. There's just certain aspects that shouldn't even be bothered to translate, like here with otaku being translated as nerd, which in my opinion doesn't do the term justice. First of all, nerd is like too broad and is more like someone who won the science fair and is tunnel vision focused on academics, while otaku is specific to nuanced interests in Japanese pop culture or aspects of it. For instance, being a huge fan of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, its lore, how he grew up, knowing the language he developed for Lord of the Rings doesn't make you an otaku. Maybe a geek is probably a better word. But being a huge fan of Gundam, knowing its lore, the creator of it, Yoshiyuki, his inspiration for the war plot, for the characters, the designs of the mech, etc., and being able to reference these things from memory at a moment's notice could make you an otaku. And it's a term you become accustomed to just by being an anime fan, talking with other fans, or become familiar with after watching a number of different anime and hearing that term being used in dialogue between characters of who's being labeled it and who's doing the labeling.
When you think about anime, you automatically think of otaku, and otaku tend to be antisocial, and antisocial people tend to become reclusive. By airing addictive anime, they're mass-producing otaku, and by mass-producing otaku, they're contributing to the massive emergence of NEET.
It makes you feel more wrapped up or even enveloped in the culture of Japan. It's like a basic term or 101 for watching anime. You just naturally pick it up as you watch. And trying to localize that out, I see as malicious and no longer give these people the benefit of the doubt. I believe there is an effort to globalize anime, like they're trying to erase the Japanese aesthetic and Japan's cultural significance from anime, where the art style would be adopted by every studio across the world, and new generations coming up will just think anime is nothing more than its signature look and art style, not knowing where it originated from, and Hollywood and all these other cultural parasites across the world will no longer need Japan's involvement, just ride the wave of its popularity and the Japanese sauce until these localizers makes Japan obsolete.
Message!
But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. I've seen content creators get angry and triggered at the fact Japanese creators claim that anime must maintain its Japaneseness, which I totally agree. Like, these influencers feel entitled to anime, like how dare Japanese try to claim anime, saying things like anime and manga is just a word for Japanese cartoons and comics, disrespectfully reducing it to a simplification when to me it means much more. Its humor, its tropes are unique along with the other things I listed out earlier, but that deserves its own video to explain further. For instance, I remember learning that Madhouse made an anime for X-Men and could already tell the difference. Outside its art style, even something as simple as the way one of the girl characters were standing, I could tell straight up this was anime. Like, Japanese animators have drawn plenty of anime girls in this feminine manner, stance, or posture. It's very common when watching anime and something I rarely see, if at all. Nothing comes to mind off the top while making this in Western girl animated characters. I want anime to remain Japanese first, and Japan should take pride in that and not allow these localizers to guilt trip them out of that.
Fuck them! Fuck them! Fuck them up against the wall! Wear handcuffs on and crazy through all their lips!
Also, if you haven't checked out my music, links in the description. If you love those samurai shampoo, lo-fi, mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. And if you want to support me and the content I create, consider joining my channel, becoming a member. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.